our podcast every week, Wednesday, 10 p.m. So come join us if you've never seen us on Twitch before. Yeah.
Yeah, we just watched a few episodes of Vivi. We're now up to episode 3. So yeah, let's interested to hear what you guys think about it so far.
I like it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like how do you? It's like it's very episodic.
Mhm.
So you don't really have to watch the previous episodes to enjoy this episode. But that in a way makes it feel very detached and very like it's hard to build up attachment towards characters if like all you see is just I guess you do start to feel something for Vivi, but there's this it goes back to the point we made earlier, like last podcast. It's that the fact that there's still that bear around.
Mhm.
And I feel like there is still no chance that they're gonna mess up. So you know from the start that they're gonna succeed, and that just ruins it.
That's a lot of shows, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like you
But
watch any
the-
shonen show, and you know that like eventually they're gonna succeed, right? Like they're gonna
Yes.
encounter a lot of problems, but they're gonna
Yes, but-
overcome all those
yeah.
problems.
Yeah, but like even in sports anime, right?
Mhm.
Like they at least lose once.
I mean,
Like they don't win every single time. Like they don't win every single time.
I mean,
like
her first fan is literally dead. I would call that a pretty big loss.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
again, like I think that leads into like my sort of reason why is because like again, like nothing about her losses have any weight. In fact, nothing about anything she does feels like it has any weight to it,
Mhm.
right? Like
The
none
loss
of the
that little girl seems to have a fairly big weight.
yeah, it's meant to have a fairly big weight, but like I don't feel like it impacted me how it should have, you know?
That's your
Like I
problem.
feel like I should be like, damn, dude, that girl's dead now. Like, dude, I feel like she should be pretty fucking like
Mhm.
Yeah.
depressed because of that shit. But like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like in my brain, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, she's an android. She seems like she kind of cares. I don't know who the fuck the girl was. She called her Vivi for once. Like,
And I feel like,
Like-
yeah, the main reason is because we have so little information on the girl. We have like I think a total of 5 minutes before she dies, right?
dude, not even, bro. Dude,
Not
I would say
even?
like nothing more than like 30 seconds.
Yeah. How do you create an emotional attachment to a character in 30 seconds? It's just impossible. Like you see them for 30 seconds, they die in the next 30 seconds. Okay, move on.
but
Like
it's possible, right? But like, you need like fucking superb writing and like excellent execution of
yeah,
animation.
you
frames,
needed
like,
to
brilliant
yeah,
music.
Yeah.
right?
You
That's
needed
what
to
you
be
need.
Vivi's mom. Like if Vivi's mom dies, okay, that maybe that does affect.
She doesn't
No, but like
have a
even
mom,
if it's
she's
her
a
mom,
boy.
right? They need to do something about it where it actually matters to her, right? Like maybe the mom did something like human, other
Maybe
than
the
eat
mom
cotton
saved her
candy with
life.
her.
Yeah, like the biggest problem is I think the pacing, right? It's just there's not enough time given to explore like anyone.
Yeah.
Like I think that leads into another issue. is
Yeah,
just the
I think
pacing.
it's the pacing as well. I think there has actually been given enough time. I'm actually, slightly disagreeing. I think 30 seconds is actually enough for someone to create some sense of an emotional attachment to something.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
I agree.
And I really do think that we failed to empathize with the chick that died because it almost had nothing to do with the whole episode. There was no build up towards it. There was no suspense. Suddenly she's just dead. And
Yeah,
Vivi's
exactly.
getting beaten up on the side.
Like,
Yeah, it's like at that point, like the episode was pretty much over, and yet they were introducing something new. It's just like when you're trying to like debate and bringing up new topics in the
At
as
the
the third
very
speaker.
end.
It just makes no sense.
yeah.
One
It's-
thing I find really interesting is that in almost all animes, the protagonist has a lot of character. Like it has a lot of personality.
Dude, Vivi's character is that she has lack of character. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. But like every like this reminds me of Violet Evergarden. Like every protagonist that has a lot like, not a lot of character just doesn't give me that sense of emotional attachment to
Yeah.
them. Like they just feel so dead
Absolutely.
inside. Like you're just like, okay. Am I supposed to feel something? Because you don't feel anything, why should I feel anything? Right?
That's interesting because maybe the target audience of this show is like people with poor EQ.
Are you saying Serena
So no, as in people.
Preposterous.
I mean, possibly, but like maybe people with poor EQ can relate to the robot main character better because she doesn't have emotions, right?
Yeah.
A
No,
lot
I
of
agree.
Japanese like salarymen struggle to express their emotions in their boring day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I'd say most like weebs would be the same.
Yeah.
But
If you're comparing
again,
this to
that doesn't
Violet
excuse it
Evergarden,
from
like,
the issue though.
Mhm.
what
I-
you're
I-
watching is for like her learning her emotions, like talking about how she progresses throughout the show.
Yeah.
That's,
It's
that's
just-
the point
yeah,
of Violet Evergarden. That's
Yeah.
probably the point of this show.
Yeah.
I'm just putting a disclaimer. I've watched like 3 episodes of Violet Evergarden, so I don't actually know what
Like
happens.
you
at
watch
the
the
end.
later episodes of Violet Evergarden, it's not like that. She's emotionless, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
It becomes
I
like
understand.
more,
Yeah,
you know,
but just
in touch with her emotions.
going through the first, like every anime is like, how many people watch more than the first 3 episodes? Not many. If you don't like it, right?
Mhm.
The first 3 episodes are almost the most important 3 episodes of any anime. It's like it's like you watch for 3 weeks. If you don't like it, you're not gonna watch it again. Like this show, like I'm watching the first 3 episodes. It's like yeah, like do I really want to watch? Like it's similar to it's like if I watched this show as the first anime show ever, I would watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of anime tropes that I wouldn't have seen before. There's a lot of new things that would have been happening. I'm like, they're going to space. This is so cool, right? But like, it's just that I guess we've seen a lot of stuff. So stuff like this doesn't actually affect us that much anymore. Or like, at
I
least
think-
me.
Like yeah, again, like back to my main like gripe with the shows is that it's like the execution just feels really poor, right? Like sure you can argue that the intention of the show is to understand like someone with like who doesn't understand emotions and go through their process of learning humans and like learning how to empathize and all of that stuff. Like that's a good plot line. In fact, lots of stories have done really well utilizing like that plot line.
Name
But
one.
again,
Name
it's
one.
just the
Name one.
execution.
Name
right?
one.
Alright, I'm gonna open up my anime list.
Violet
this is a
Evergarden.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I mean, yeah, like
Really.
Nice.
Really.
I mean, if you haven't watched the whole thing, maybe like near the end, like
Okay.
it's a really big part.
Yeah.
Okay, about people who like, alright, my favorite show, okay, fucking Sun Gods No Lion is about a guy who only cares about shogi, doesn't give a shit about anything else, lives in an apartment with nothing but shogi boards and like printed out like shogi like matches, and he just analyzes shogi for his life. And the show's about him getting to understand family, meeting people, like understanding that his opponents are people, understanding that people have daily lives, and that not everything's about shogi. That show's like peak, alright, peak. Alright. Another fucking show, Mob Psycho 100, right? One of my favorite shows as well. Not only is it comedy, is it like action, insane animations. It's also about a guy who doesn't understand anything other than, oh, I just, I want to get closer to people, but like my psychic abilities make everything easy for me, but I don't want to use it to like so that I can make more friends, right? Like, it's people who want to go through a process of, understanding more people. They're currently, in a situation where they're not very empathetic and don't know that, but they want to get to that point where they are, and they meet friends along the way and all of that. And I think those shows do a much better job than what Vivi does here.
Definitely.
I feel like the difference with those shows that you mentioned is that even though they're bad at communicating with other people or they're trying to understand other people, they do have their own personality. They do have their own quirks. There's nothing about Vivi that stands out at all.
Yeah, and exactly. That's I think that's a issue with the execution, less so than like it's an issue with the way they develop the character than the actual show's premise.
But if
Right?
you
The
think
show's
about
premise is nothing wrong.
if you think about AI itself, right? If you think about artificial
Yeah.
intelligence, if you get given a blank slate, you are literally a blank slate. You will have
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
But so
And that's the problem, right?
Yeah, and that in
Like-
itself just makes it boring, right?
Yeah, like I think what would be interesting is like make the character like something that's different from someone that is like a yes man sort of character, because that's sort of like what she is, right? She's just like, okay, I need to fulfill my mission. Okay, Bear telling me that if I do this, it's also a part of my mission. Okay,
That's not how she's
not
portraying it.
actually how it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
She
But
disagrees
she
with
doesn't
the
definitely not a
whole
yes
lot.
man.
yeah, but then like the bear explains, right? It's like, oh, but like, don't you want people to be happy? Yeah, then if you want people to happy, then if you do this, then people will be happy, right? Like that's what he says. And then she's like, oh, I understand now. I will do what you say.
I mean, sure, but she also like specifically does not do a lot of things that he asks. For example, he's like, "Oh, I'll knock her out. You take her of her body." She's like, "No."
Yeah, but why?
Because she does not believe that this is the best way to happiness. She believes that there is more to this story than what the bear is telling her.
Yeah, again,
Yeah, but
and then it's
why?
just the yes man
Like-
sort of thing, right?
No, no,
'Cause
no,
she's
no.
like, yes, I have to do what I'm being told because I need to, like, that's how I'm programmed. Yes.
I feel like it's even more than that. It's because there's no like reasoning behind why she thinks that's the wrong thing. Right? Because there's nothing in the story that suggests that she has impeccable morals. So she's the perfect moral AI, right? She's just an AI that does what she's told. How does she make a decision for herself? What makes her realize that this is the correct thing and this is the incorrect?
I think for her,
Like-
it's really straightforward, right? It's like, does it align with her overall goal of making everyone happy through singing?
Yeah.
And like, to her, killing someone would not make them happy through singing.
Yeah.
I think all her actions go through like that check. Like, does this make the people around me happy? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of the actions that the bear tells her to do kind of go against that as well, which is where a lot of their conflicts stem from.
That's fair enough.
Like using a specific example from episode 2, when she decides to save that guy from the falling like rubble, right? Like that's not something that's relevant to her mission, but like that's something she does out of her own out of her own feelings. That's already a contrast with the AI's like single-minded goal, right? There's not really an explanation like
Yeah,
based
but
on the
why?
AI.
But why?
I mean, she
I don't think
explains
that's
it.
consistent either.
She says, like, after he saves him, she explains to the bear that, like, letting him die would not make him happy and, like, achieve
Yeah,
her
yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
Dave, I don't know if you're talking about the technical details, like as in
Like-
how the AI is programmed to do that. I think that's something that the viewer just like can't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about,
more
like that.
in the show. A lot of times I just can't see the like I understand why she does it. She does it because she wants to save him.
Mhm.
But she can also just choose the easy path, right?
She saves him such that he might see her show
Yep.
and be happy that way.
I see. Okay.
But
That-
as we analysed at the time, which maybe David wasn't here for, like,
I wasn't
he's
here
not
for.
come into her show, man. He hates her.
Yeah. But like,
I don't think that's true though. I think at the end he actually starts sympathizing with her,
Yeah, he's
which is why at the very end of episode 2 we see him visibly in turmoil and he crunches that thing in his hand.
yeah, he was definitely in conflict, like internal conflict, where he's just like, I'm against AIs. That's like my personal belief. But now an AI saved me. Like, should I like, should I not like them? And this is like sort of conflicting his own sort of internal struggle.
right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's
But-
definitely there.
Like, again, like, there's nothing. Look, about the story, it's like it seems okay. Like the story seems fine to me. Like, again, it's just the execution. Like, I don't know. Like maybe it's like the
what
way
do you
the
want to happen
characters'
instead?
scripts are written. Maybe it's like the emotions expressed on the characters' faces. Because let's be honest, there's no emotions expressed on these faces. Like it's like bare minimum emotions
True.
expressed on their faces.
Very true.
Or maybe it's like the animation that's going on, like, or maybe it's like the realism of like the actions that they're doing, or maybe it's the responses that they're giving. Like, I just feel like it's not really like the premise. Like the premise is fine. Like it's interesting. It's just the way they execute the premise it just feels lackluster. You know.
Honestly, that might just be the production budget, and that's, I guess, not something you can really blame the animators.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. And I mean, like sometimes that is really just the case with some animes where like the production value is not there, and it just makes it really difficult to watch.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of animes which don't have a really high production value, but they're still
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
So
but like
shouldn't
it's much
be-
harder. It's much
That's
harder.
in the writing. That's not in the production value. I think.
Yeah.
You know if
I
there's
think
do you have an example for that, David?
I have some
Um,
examples.
Initial
like
One Piece.
Mushishi.
Yeah, I know a lot of manga that look horrible, but are so good to read.
Yeah, One Punch Man.
Yeah,
The original
that's
one.
The original.
it.
Like,
Yeah, it's the
I mean,
same,
yeah, I guess like that's like a golden example of like no budget but like
Yeah.
excellent execution to have like something for like not excellent, but because the drawing's pretty shit. But
Yeah,
like
Strain,
in
have
terms
you
of
seen it?
storyline and like
I have
pacing
actually
and
not fully watched
comedy.
One Punch Man. I've only
No.
watched
read the original manga. It is literally like you would. If I told you I drew this, you would believe me.
Oh right. I've seen parts of the original.
Yeah.
Like
it is
it's
fun.
actually good. It's actually good.
Yeah.
No, but
like-
I think the problem with what we have here is the element of convenience. It almost seems to us as viewers that all of this that's happening around them is just a little too convenient. It's like, the robot comes down, and yes, I understand the robot comes down at the perfect timing, but it's like, okay, look, in 2 minutes, this bomb's about to explode, or like, this person needs to be saved tonight. There's no kind of foreshadowing, build up. Everything just kind of happens too quickly.
Agree.
Especially with episode 3, right, where they're just like, oh shit, plane's gonna satellite's gonna fall from the sky, we gotta get to space right now, and they're like 24 hours it's gonna fall.
Space.
Yeah. No, obviously, like, it can be explained, and as in the fact that, like, obviously this bear can, has data on the future, and so they can conveniently time things, but it doesn't make for great writing, I think.
Yeah. Again, it's just
I want the bear to just get out of here. Get out of here.
Bear's the main character.
Let's say instead the bear was like always there. She sees glimpses in the future, right?
Yep.
And those glimpses in the future unconsciously controls her, which like she blacks out and she doesn't know, and suddenly she's at the spaceship. Wouldn't that be a better idea than having a bear just narrating every single thing that happens?
Yeah.
Do we really need to
just, like,
know that?
narrates everything.
Do we really need to know that a spaceship is gonna fall down in the next 23 hours and see a scene of it happening? Like, no.
exactly. It's like the golden rule of creative writing, show not tell. You gotta show the audience what happens. Not
Like
tell
you
them
can
what happens.
you can just have a flash of a spaceship crashing. We don't know if it's gonna happen or not. If it's just
We
in
don't
her
know when it's
mind,
gonna
like
happen.
when we don't know when it's gonna happen. We don't know if it's actually real, or if she's just hallucinating, right?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that just create a lot more suspense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have a take on how to change like the plot or like the characters a little bit to make it a little bit spicy, right? So like David suggests that like the bear incorporates itself into the AI to have it have like a little bit of future vision, and then she gets to like make decisions based on like the future sight. I think that would be really, really interesting. I think another interesting route, kind of diverging from like the sort of theme or like the genre, maybe you can make it like comedy where the bear like fucks shit up, and then she's always just like trying to like figure out how to like solve like the issues that the bear keeps on causing, because like the bear's like future telling skills seems to be pretty goddamn awful, to be honest. Like, it's just like, oh dude, like the door's gonna close on you and you're gonna hit your head, and then she's just like, what the fuck?
No. It's just gonna be like, oh, the thing explodes in 24 hours. Oh wait, fuck, I forgot. It's actually in 12 hours.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, well, it's gonna explode in the next minute, and it's just like,
What the fuck?
like, and then they'll be like adding some more like relationship between the characters, right? Because the bear's like trying to do well, but then like he's sort of like a fuck up, and then like the AI is like the program meant to be like the righteous one. It's just like, oh shit, but they have to like solve the issue of fucking like all this like mess, and then like you can add a little bit of like like that adds character, right? It makes it so that it's not like the characters saying stuff that makes them who they are, but like the characters doing stuff as well. I think that would have been
This
pretty
this
interesting as
is
well.
making me think about another point. We don't really, I personally don't ever feel what she's feeling. Does
Don't
that make any
empathize with
sense? No, it's more like like in a lot of shows, you feel the emotions of the protagonist. She faces a lot of difficult decisions, right? She needs to kill this person that she doesn't think is a bad person, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
So right, which is her sister. Like, I should feel like some pull, right? Oh, I really don't want to kill. I don't really want her to kill the sister. But if that's the only way to save the base, then maybe this is the case, right? But there's
Wait, the
nothing.
sister is in like Estella or
Estella,
like the
Estella,
kid?
Estella.
Right, yeah. Why is she the sister? Like, why is she a sister?
Same
not
AI
literal
program.
sister.
Design or something.
Yeah, so she's essentially the successor of the singing role. That's why they essentially say that she's like a little sister.
Yeah.
They're not literal sisters, which I don't even think is possible with AI anyway.
Is that the
Right.
reason? I think the reason is just because, like, Estella says they're all one family, like as in the employees of the place.
No.
No.
They said something
No.
about the sister
The
before
bear.
that
The bear
happened.
says something. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
this is the next person who will take your job.
Right.
Who'll do the singing essentially. And then that's why later on when Estella does start singing, the bear's like, indeed, they've got the right.
person.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She's
it's like
got the voice.
Expected of sisters.
Yes.
it still seems pretty weak, right? Like
But doesn't
it's
Estella
like
die
okay,
in the
they're
crash?
sisters now. Like
What?
No. What?
Doesn't she die in the... If a satellite crashes on Earth and she's on the satellite?
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, there's probably something that we don't know yet that's going on
Yeah.
there.
Didn't they say like 1/5 of them live and 4/5 of them die?
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
I don't know. If
Wait,
that's-
that would be
details.
crazy. Usually plane crashes, everyone dies. Like, it's not even close.
I don't know. I feel like I have like a fever dream of them saying like 4/5 of the ship died, but that would imply that 1/5 lived.
Yeah.
Don't specifically recall, but maybe you have better memory than me.
I don't remember that. I think. Wait, David, are you up to date with the anime already?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Well, no,
episode
I'm-
4 was
I'm,
good.
I'm not up to date.
Wait, not up to date. Right. I think episode 4 is good.
We will
Yes.
find out.
Why do they
Yeah.
make it? Why do they have to make episode 4 good? Why can they make episode 1 good, 2 good? or
Because there's a
3?
character that they introduced that makes
Ah,
sense.
I
okay.
for
got a point on that.
That actually
I
makes sense.
Recently found out this show is written by the same author as ReZero.
Ah.
So
Of course, of course,
it
Why
would
is-
suffer from the same problem. Where
of course it is.
episodes,
Oh my god.
1 in 10 episodes is gonna be the best episode of the week.
Okay, alright.
1 in 10 episodes.
I'm not saying episode 4 is like the bangest of the banger episodes. I'm just saying it's good. Like
not
it's better
bad.
than the ones we've seen so far. That's it.
Alright,
Like,
alright.
it's not amazing, but it's like watching episode like 1, 2, 3, and then watching episode 4. I'm feeling like, damn, this might be something I can keep watching.
Right. I mean,
Really?
on a positive note, Vivi has really good music. Like the sound design, I think is really nice. I think
Yes.
all the singing is good. Like the musical choices to like in the intense scenes and like the fight scenes, it all fits.
Sound design, yeah. I do think, however, like there are there's like literally like less than 5 shows that I can think of that actually match up the animation quality to the sound quality. Because animation is so hard to make it look natural when someone's singing. It is so difficult.
Oh,
Like,
are
if
you
you
talking
guys
about
remember?
like, the animation of the mouths?
Yes,
Like when they're
and
singing?
just body expression, just like throat movement, everything all together.
Have you not heard every Disney movie? What?
No. Sorry, from a Japanese anime perspective. Yeah, Disney does it pretty well because they're working the 3D animation, which is working pretty well. But like,
By the way, anime and animation and Disney animation is different. So I think it might be harder to produce like realistic looking singing in anime animation. Because it's like, I think anime animation is like 15 frames, but like double frames, while Disney is triple frames. So they have like, I don't know. I don't know specifics. I'm not fucking animation expert, but like
Yeah.
I think Disney is able to have smoother animations because they fit more frames into like each second.
yeah, I have like no doubt that it's because of low budget because you can see it, right? And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for example, if you take Shigatsu, no, not Shigatsu, what am I thinking, guys? No. Shigatsu.
Your line April.
Yeah, that one. Your Line April. You can clearly see that everything's done by music, and they've spent a lot of budget just trying to get the music parts right.
Yeah.
And you know, when that works, it looks natural. But if you're missing like even the throat movement, even like the facial expressions that are happening when you're singing, something just looks off, even if everything else is right.
Dude, the characters look so dead when they're singing, man. Holy shit.
Sure.
Alright.
Like, I was staring at it.
But that
It's-
being
it's-
said, for like the general audience, I don't think it's
Yeah, they wouldn't care.
that big of a deal.
But you can see it, right?
No,
it's
of
literally a
course.
freeze frame, and only their mouth is moving. It
I
looks
think-
totally
okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
I'll point out one anime that I've watched that does really well with like expressions when someone's talking. And that anime is called it's a really long title. It's called Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinji. Okay.
Rakugo.
Alright. So that one, okay, like that show is about people performing Rakugo, right? Which is essentially like Japanese stand-up comedy, except like, you know, like the stories have been told over and over. Well, I mean, stand-up comedy is like prepared stories anyways, but like basically there's like a prepared story and people know what story they're going to listen to when they go into it. But essentially it's just some person sitting on stage and talking like stand-up comedy style like speech. And it's meant to be funny and there's jokes. The thing is, right, like there were like episodes where half the episode was literally the guy sitting on stage performing the Rakugo in animation. And like I don't understand Japanese, so I don't get half the jokes, but like the way they actually animated and they use like different camera angles and like zoom ins on like different facial expressions and sweats or like the movements and subtle movements made it feel really realistic. It probably cost a little bit more than Vivi, but like, you know, like I think even with like I don't know, like there's ways to go around not having like fancy animations to like perfectly fit someone's like body movements while they're singing, while instead like they just like zoom in on specific aspects of their singing to make it really emphasize the realism.
I think it also depends a lot on like how much time the animator has to produce each episode.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have enough time, you can't put in the effort to like get everything to perfectly match. Like eventually, if you
but
think about
it's
it,
like-
yeah.
It's like the keyframes, right? Like when they're singing, there's like one keyframe and they're just animating the mouth, right? But in like Rakugo
Yeah.
Shinju, it's like
Yeah.
10 keyframes and there's like I mean the animation's like pretty limited. in
Yeah,
each frame
it's
as well.
because they only have one keyframe that it makes it look
that, like,
unrealistic,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But doesn't that also
It just
come
sucks.
with
It just
budget?
sucks.
Like if you had more
Yeah,
budget,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
could hire more animators
Yeah.
to draw more keyframes.
Exactly.
That's precisely it.
Mhm.
Like from what this looks like, it kind of looks like the producer or director has basically been like, hey, you have to fit all of this storyboard into this one episode, and the animator's just like,
What the
shit.
Shit.
Yeah,
We've got 3
Ah.
minutes left and we haven't explored this whole arc with a little girl, guys.
Exactly, right? Like literally.
quick,
We've got 3 minutes left. We've got to talk about a plane exploding.
That's
It just doesn't make sense.
no. They should no. How these work usually? They should storyboard the whole scene, like the whole like show
Yeah.
first before they actually start animating. Like the animator doesn't actually have to like do any of the creative decisions.
For sure.
Yeah,
So,
It's just like no, like the work of keyframes, right? They're like, all right, for this section, there's like this many keyframes. This section, there's this many keyframes, right? Like,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
dull sections, they assign like 1 or 2 keyframes because it's just people standing there and then talking. But like, you know, fight scenes or like, you know, like the Sakuga, right, where they have like 10, 15 keyframes in like 1 second. You know, like that's like when the animation budget gets really high, with
Yeah.
like, well, both like art and animation budget.
what genre do you think this show is?
Sci-fi,
Sci-fi.
fantasy, sci-fi.
fantasy, sci-fi, sci-fi.
Okay,
Sci-fi.
fantasy.
There's different kinds of sci-fi,
Yeah,
right?
sci-fi is.
Sci-fi
fantasy.
really genre by itself.
Yeah. I think it's not
I
explored.
mean,
enough
what
in
would you
anime.
say the genre is? Seren?
No, I'm not saying it's not sci-fi. What I'm saying is like sci-fi just involves technology and
Science.
science, right? But
Science
that's
fiction.
not
Science
really
fiction.
touching on whether this show is going to be like a drama or a, you know, an action or something like that. I think that's more like the idea of a genre rather than
Okay.
like sci-fi.
I can see that. Yeah, that
Because you can have like action that
Oh.
involves like, you know, science
Yeah.
and stuff, and you can have action
Yeah.
that doesn't.
I think it's a drama.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, right? Like, I feel like this show just doesn't have enough to like call it like an action show, and it doesn't have enough drama to call it a drama show.
I think
It
it's
doesn't have
trying to
enough-
be a drama show.
So the official genres on MAL are action, sci-fi, music.
Music. Oh, I
Thriller.
guess.
Music makes sense.
Music
Music
Thriller.
makes
Okay,
sense.
music. If that's a genre, sure.
Yeah.
Action,
Music, I guess.
like, I think that's the best fit.
There
Like,
are
I don't think it's
action
anything else but action.
Action scenes are pretty
Everything
good,
is
actually.
action.
Yeah, like I think action's like the only. Yeah, I don't think it's thriller though. Thriller?
Yeah, to an extent,
Very
yeah.
thrilling. Bro, I
They
was,
just
like,
they
scared.
just rip out their neck.
See,
They
what
just
about-
suddenly
Here's
everyone
the
dies.
thing,
Oh, I get-
right? I feel like even that scene could have been done so much better because
right?
like
That was so
no
random.
one was surprised. No one felt that it was random, did they?
No, it's not like it was so
Well, it
random,
was
but it wasn't
random.
surprising.
But There's
But
a
it
It
wasn't
just happened. I'm
surprising
like,
at all.
oh, okay, sure. Like
There was
that
no
happened.
like, there was no music. There was no any foreshadowing. So it just happened,
Yeah.
and your brain doesn't register what just happens.
Yeah.
So like
I don't,
Exactly.
I don't feel like it's a foreshadowing thing. I think it was literally the bear was like, "Hey, this person's evil," and then you're just like, "Okay, this person's evil. Something's gonna happen."
No. I mean the last. I'm
But,
talking
like-
about the last. The what is it called? The spoilers for the next episode.
Oh,
when they rip
oh.
out
they
her.
rip her neck off.
That
That wasn't
I
a spoiler,
yeah.
right? That was part
That
of
wasn't
this
a spoiler.
episode.
Oh, that was part of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
At the end of this episode, she gets her head ripped off.
Yeah,
And then
and
the
that-
next episode, they're
like-
like fighting Estella.
and I felt
Yeah.
that was about right. I thought she was gonna like disable her or something, but I mean, rip her head off.
But like,
sure, that
there's no
works too.
reason for them to disable her. What did she even give her? Well, I mean, maybe we find out the next episode. But like we don't know anything about the pink hair character. Like nothing
Yeah.
to warrant her to be like eliminated.
That's true.
Like maybe she would be like, oh shit, dude, like you shouldn't trust Estella because like Estella's gonna be like something more than just be like, I'm sus of Estella. She might have killed
exactly.
her family. Like that doesn't fucking matter. Like who the fuck gives a shit if she killed her
Every-
fucking family? or something?
Everything just makes it feel like it's perfect for Vivi's growth. Like, oh, this person dies perfectly so she can grow up and learn about this stuff. Like, why does it happen?
I feel like they just die for no fucking reason.
So we're gonna classify Vivi as
criticism.
shonen anime.
If we have criticism like
Actually,
why don't we compare this to another show this season? We can watch one right now.
That's what I'm
Watch
saying.
it all.
My Hero
No, not
Aka?
there.
My Hero Aka?
Academia.
That's what
My
I'm saying.
Hero- You can't
To
watch
Your
that without watching
Eternity,
this.
we have to compare the two because To Your Eternity once again is a protagonist with literally zero personality.
no,
Like,
it's
the whole show is the character trying to, in even more
Yeah, there we
more
go.
of a sense
Perfect.
than Violet Evergarden.
Flip a coin, 86 or To Your Eternity. We'll watch
It's-
both.
I'm watching. I would like to watch it to Eternity.
It's like the dude's literally like trying to understand what death is, what life is,
why?
because it's an entity with it's just an entity.
Because he's
Oh,
immortal.
he's not a human being. He's
It's not a human being, no.
Like,
Not a robot either. Like pretty much an alien. I'm pretty sure it is an alien. Like it comes down to Earth, starts transforming into things to try and understand what they're feeling.
Wait, that-
So he sees a wolf die and then transforms into the wolf.
Okay,
is that?
I would
like
say the
the-
plot is pretty similar to this, right? Other than the fact that this is
I don't
that
think
sounds like the
it's similar.
Ghibli
I've watched those
film.
2 episodes of To Your Eternity. I don't think it's similar, like to be honest. Like it's got a very like different style to it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, but
as a
the
digression,
premise,
like,
the premise.
the most popular animes this season have sort of settled into like what like To Your Eternity is like somewhere around like 3 or 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
86 is like most popular by far on like most ratings, and what like there's the slice of life animes, Higehiro, Nagatoro, and stuff, and then it's like To Your Eternity, then Vivi is a bit below that.
I think
what we're looking
Vivi
at.
feels very. It reminds me of the you know, like it's like each episode feels like one of those, like the production quality is like a One Piece episode that is like a filler. Well, not a filler, but like one of those like not really important episodes. Like that's how much like production quality goes into Vivi. I feel like.
I guess that's his budget. Do you know? Can you see how much budget they got for that film? For that?
I don't think anime shows release their budget, but you can have a look.
Wait, that's fucked up. Oh.
No, it's just
Let's
it
say
depends on
Vivi-
the studio, right?
A fluorescent eyes song, fluorite eyes song.
Definitely different though. 86 has aesthetic characters. To Your Eternity doesn't appeal to that at all.
Yeah, we're gonna watch both anyway, so just flip a coin as to what we're gonna watch now, or maybe we can just watch To Your Eternity now.
I just want to watch hot girls do cute things.
Oh, then you got okay, maybe not 86.
You can just
Alright,
Well,
hot
the
girls
horror
do
then.
cute things. You gotta watch fucking
you can
the
just
Demon
watch
King.
VTubers.
I'll watch
VTubers.
300 slimes. Like 300.
300
geeks.
slimes, yes.
Like I hate to admit it, but like Nagatoro is actually kind of looking pretty good. Oh, I don't want to do this.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you.
Oh no! Oh,
Once again, it was one of the better slice of life manga.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I could definitely see it.
I hate her,
Being
but
around.
like it's a pretty good story.
An interesting
Like-
show. Oh, sorry. You finish up.
Oh, all I was gonna say was like the show is uninteresting in its premise, but it's so well delivered,
That's
very well executed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think execution is really important for anime or like anything.
any.
You can have like a shit plot, dude. Right, like One Punch Man is like the most generic plot you can have. A guy just beats people with one punch, but the execution, the writing is so good that it makes it good. Right?
I don't think
That's
that's plot. I think that's premise. But yeah,
Well, yeah, like the idea is just something that anyone can think of, and it takes someone who has a really good understanding of story writing and plot development to actually make that story interesting.
Okay, about One
'Cause, like-
Punch Man, I don't think the idea was a guy can beat everyone in one punch. I think it's the idea of having too much success can also be just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like you have to attach that to the story, which is this guy beats everyone in one punch, right?
yeah, I'm assuming when they like thought of the story, they didn't
Exactly,
first,
right?
They
But,
didn't
like,
first
what did-
think of but like
Yeah,
connecting those
that's my
ideas
point.
was
That's my
genius.
point.
Yeah.
That's my point, right? Like it takes something else to make it work, right? Like
Yeah,
like what if
but
and also
that's-
like even if you do think about it, it's like, oh, like One Punch Man is, it's about a guy who punches people in one punch, but the real story behind it is about someone who has too much success and like struggles to utilize it, right? But it still takes some thought to get to that point, right?
But that's not execution. You're
But
saying
yeah, then again, the
is more
execution
important.
with the storyline is like,
Yeah, the
oh,
execution is insane, but the plot it wasn't that bad. Like it was a pretty interesting idea because it's never been done before, and any idea
yeah,
that
but
has
like
never been
my problem with
Uh,
Vivi is that it's nothing.
yeah,
It's definitely been done before. It's just not.
done as well.
Sorry. It was done very well. One Punch Man is done very well. I mean, I don't think that's true though, because like One Punch Man's strength never gets in his way. It's always convenient for him. He always one shots people.
Yeah,
And he always beats people. It's more they explore more the characters around him, who are like clearly struggling. And
Yeah.
there's this dramatic irony that that Saitama is gonna one punch everything
Yeah,
and win
it's like
anyway.
it doesn't even
That's what
matter,
makes it
yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like the characters are funny. Like they have humor, they have empathy. Like they feel something, right? Like, I don't know.
you watch it and you feel good. I think that's
Yeah, because
the
like
comment that
you,
most
you
people
like the
have.
characters because there's
Yeah.
something to like about them.
Yeah,
While like Vivi characters is like there's nothing to like about them, so how can I like them, sort of thing, you know? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a struggle.
you can
I think
see
that's true.
why they're trying to make you like them, but you just still don't like them.
Yeah, like they really are trying. They're trying to make the characters,
Okay,
unique.
but then let me ask a question, right? Would you want to watch the next episode if you were just by yourself? Do you have an inclination to watch the next episode after what we just saw?
I would.
For
No,
sure,
for Vivi?
yes. Of course.
Exactly,
Like-
right?
Yeah, I would watch the next episode
I
only
think so
because
too.
it didn't conclude everything.
No.
Yeah, and I think that's a positive quality nonetheless, because at the end of the day, we are kind of criticizing what's going on with the anime, but I think for sure after that episode, I was like, kind of want to watch another episode, but I kind of don't, but I will watch another episode sooner or
Yeah.
later, which I think is a really good thing.
Yeah, like I think there's
Can you load
definitely
up to your
quality.
load,
I
load up
can
the
load
episode.
up to your eternity.
MGBR says, yo.
Yo, hey MG, what's up?
Let's go, dude. Like,
Open with VLC.
Yeah. but the thing is, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I think I talked about this like the first time we talked about anime. It's just like I'm always looking for that anime that makes me want to watch the next episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard for me to like find an anime now that like is like, oh damn, I just want to like keep watching and just like keep watching and keep watching and keep watching, you know? And like, yeah, sure, like this episode of Vivi makes me want to watch the next episode, but it's not like I need to watch it right now, sort of feeling.
That's
Like,
good.
I'm
Like,
telling
it's
you,
not
that's
like-
86, man. That's 86. Like, it
Right?
actually
Okay,
feels like
I'm gonna,
11 times
I'll watch 86, right? Like, you're telling me it's that good? I fucking wanna, dude, I wanna experience that again, you know? Like, that's why I watch anime, is for that feeling of like,